Right, in our previous video tutorial we constructed this very nice accompanying pattern for an 8-bar chord progression in C major. So let's bring it back by using our return button down here to bar 1, and we're going to add a track, new track, and we want a software instrument, create, and what we want here, we want a bass sound. So look over here. Now if you don't have this selected, if you've got something that looks like that, we want software instrument. Sometimes in GarageBand you get something that looks like this, which is all your loops. We don't want loops at this stage, so we want the track info, and we want software instrument, and we want to select a bass. Let's just sort of try our different sort of basses. Fingerstyle electric bass, that might do us. Let's see what that sounds like. Okay, that sounds pretty good. Now we're just going to play a very simple root note pattern. That means that we play a nice dotted rhythm pattern on the lower end of the keyboard with our bass sound selected. And just to find those notes, we're just going to go across the studio keyboard to see what that looks like to play. Down the bottom end of the keyboard, let's have a little look at the what the bass patterns might look at. If we do a dotted note, just a root note bass pattern, C, F, G, back to the C, okay, here we are in GarageBand again. Now what I find helps me very much is on a piece of paper, or on better still on your music score, we've got a C chord, then an F chord, then a G chord, then an F chord, then a G chord, then an A minor chord, then a G chord, then a C chord. Or you can actually, if we go back up here, we can actually check what we've got there, and you can actually, if you've got a printer connected to your computer, you can actually go File, Print, and on an Apple you can either print it as a PDF or just hit print and it will churn it out on a bit of paper, and then you can see what chords you've played in. Okay, so selecting our bass sound, we've looked at seeing what it looks like on the keyboard, and we know that we need to play a C, then an F, then a G, then an F, then a G, A minor, G, and a C. I've got that written out here in front of me on a piece of paper on my worksheet, so I can just practice that dotted pattern, and we don't need to do that one at a time. It's easy enough to just learn those notes. You can do it one at a time, but let's just play it very easily. Okay, and that sounds quite good. Alright, while we're here, let's just carry on and add, let's see, we could add what we call a pad part, where what we do is we play nice long chords. Once again, new track, we want a software instrument, create, and this time let's choose synth pads or strings. Okay, let's just see what orchestral strings sound like. Okay, so I'm just going to do this very quickly, but you could do it the same way we did before if you're not a real quick keyboard player, like we did with this part here, just one at a time. But I'm going to just record it very quickly because I can actually play the keyboard reasonably quickly, and I'm looking at and I know what the notes of the triads are, and for each bar I'm just going to hold a semi-breve or 4-beat note, nice long note. You'll see that in the score, actually, what I play. Right, now you'll see that I actually only held them for a minute. That's okay because it sounds alright. And now moving on very quickly, I think I might make up a quick little melody. So let's go track, new track, software instrument, create, and on this one, don't forget we always want this little I symbol highlighted, not loops. This one, when we're going to put in our melody sounds, go down here to woodwinds, and I'm going to use our pop flute sound. And looking at the notes of the triads, same as we did with our C major melody writing exercise before, I'm going to mostly use notes from the triads to write a nice melody with some passing notes. Okay, so here it goes. And in another later series, I'll show you how to program drums, but that's another whole thing, how to actually compose for the drum kit and how to notate the drum kit. But for now, here's where we can use our loops. We've created this whole complete piece of music, and what we're going to do, we're going to go track, new track, and for this one, we could use a real instrument or a software instrument. But what we're going to do, stick with our software instrument, and this time instead of information we're going to go loops, and what we're looking for is we could pick either all drums. Yeah, okay, let's pick all drums, and it sounds a little bit sort of retro, so let's pick 70 drums ballad, and that's nice and simple. So what we do is we just pick that up and we drag it in there. Okay, it takes a little while for it, and see how we can move the mouse and get that little curly symbol there, drag it along, and look at this. Okay, so there's our melody that we composed. It's all notated. If we select the track, there's our pad part with the nice long string sounds. There's our bass. Notice it's written the bass clef, so there's our bass, and there's our original piano accompaniment part. Let's have a look at the bass line as we play it. Hit return so we get the beginning. And that's how we complete our arrangement.